Well, I want to say what's up to everybody. Chris Johnson here, aka the Greatness Coach, bringing you another episode of the Pastor Plus podcast. I've been on a journey to find people who I feel like embody the Pastor Plus concept, and that is individuals who are both operating in ministry and the marketplace. And today, I'm so excited to have my guest with me today from the Parent Fitness Company. I'm excited to hear about this brother today. And let me go ahead and introduce him to you, affectionately known as Coach D. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. It's so good to have you on the podcast today. And so let's just dive right in, man, because there's some people who may be viewing right now who maybe don't know who you are. So can you just start there? Just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what it is that you're up to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate again being here on your platform today. Everyone, I am Coach D, the Parents Fitness Coach. I am a father of 8, and at one time I was 270 pounds. And I was able to, just through 5 hours a week, lose weight, find my passion again for personal training and training others. I was a personal trainer before I gained the 270 pounds, and I had left it. So I was able to find that again, and out of that, I birthed or God birthed the Parents Fitness Coach, and I've been helping parents lose weight. My testimony, I lost 80 pounds. My wife lost 85 pounds, and again, we have 8 children, so we had to do this doing homework, doing basketball, doing volleyball, and everything else that a parent entails. So we were able to do it, and a lot of families aren't that big. So if we were able to do it with 8, I know other people can do it with 2, 3, 4 kids.
Wow. You know, this is such a great conversation because, I feel like we have so many topics we can cover. So let's start there with family. Doing what you do, being a father, a husband, loving the Lord. How has that journey been for you? Is it important to you that your children see the changes and transitions in the life that you live and lead? What is some of the things that you can really say especially over the past 2 years, has really hit home with you as far as family and leading and moving?
Um, I come, I personally come from a small family. I was raised by a single mother.
Mm.
Um, I reached 8 before she remarried. I was 18 when she remarried. So I really reached adulthood with just me and my mom. That's the way it was. So marrying into with my wife, now she comes from a huge family dynamic. So I would say we've been married for 10 years now, and our family dynamic she has taught me more of what family is,
Mm.
what family isn't. So the one thing me and my wife pride ourselves on, which I think our parental generation didn't do, was more transparency,
Yeah.
showing the flaws, showing the growth, explaining that to our kids. Like me and my wife graduated with our undergrads late. So, hey, if you do this early, you can get the job you want. You don't have to work jobs and be miserable like me and mommy did, you know?
Yeah.
So we have been very, very transparent with our kids and want them to see our growth.
Wow. Like you said, we grew up especially in a church culture. We grew up in a church
Yes, yes.
culture where you hit all of these things, and you were only allowed to speak when spoken to, and
Uh-huh.
things of that nature.
Exactly.
And so what was the motivation behind? You said at one point you were overweight. What clicked in you? What made you say, okay, I've got to make a shift. I've got to make a change.
You know what's funny? It's a funny story. Like, um, 4 years prior, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. And it turned out that I already had it. I was genetically induced, like all my kidneys, all my heart, and everything. Even though I was overweight, everything was clear. So they're like, you have genetically, no matter how shape I am, I'm going to have to be on medication for the rest of my life. Now, the dosages went dramatically down. I'm on the lowest dosage of high blood pressure medicine once I lost the weight. But, you know, I'm gonna be real. Like, it was like, oh, you need to be healthy for your family. That'll get me 3 months of consistency, and I would quit.
Mm.
Oh, you want to look good on the beach. That'll give me 3 months consistency, and I would quit. It wasn't until I left. I was in software sales for a long time, and I wanted to become a teacher. And I got hired. My first year I did part time, and I was a STEM teacher. But the second year it was a PE teacher, and you get hired in February, March for the following year.
Yeah.
When I got hired as the PE teacher, I was like, I am not going to be a fat PE teacher. that truly was my motivation that catapulted my consistency, because I was like, I am not going to be the fat PE teacher that's saying do push-ups, and yeah, I'm sitting there overweight, and I'm not exemplifying that in my life. So that's what started it, and lo and behold, the business was birthed through that process, and I found my passion again.
Wow. That's you know, you didn't want to false advertise, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You wanted to be a product of the product, as I've heard said so much before. It's interesting, the name that you've chosen for your company, the Parents Fitness. Unpack that a little bit. What is that about? What's the intention behind the Parents Fitness, Coach?
Honestly, as my friends will joke and say, I'm Father Abraham. Me and my wife have 8 beautiful kids. Honestly, to be honest, it was more of being an entrepreneur and starting this business. I spent my business is 4 years old now, and I spent the first 3 years just being health coach, and just posting workouts, posting all this stuff. And I wasn't really servicing anybody. I would get clients here and there, but it wasn't consistent. And then I was a part of a mastermind with a group of friends. And I was like, I don't know this niche thing. I don't understand it. And I'm sitting here trying to find it. And then one of my friends was like, explain your journey. So I'm explaining the journey, just like I told you. We got 8 kids, finding the time, sacrificing. Like, one of the things me and my wife had to do, because we were working out right after work. Well, that's when the kids need time with homework.
Yeah.
Then we were working out late. And when you work out late, your adrenaline pumps up. So it's hard to go to sleep when you work out late.
Yeah.
So we had to sacrifice to say, hey, we're going to get up at 4:30 in the morning, go to the gym from 5 to 6 to get this done. To make sure we were available for our kids, to make sure we were available for ourselves to go to sleep and everything like that. So I'm explaining this journey, and she goes, so why can't you help other parents, because you have 8 kids and you were able to lose 80 pounds? Mm-hmm. Why can't you teach other parents that? And that was just when it clicked. It was all like, whoa, that's right. Again, if we have 8 kids and we're able to do this, most families aren't that big. How come you can't find the time to do that? You know, so that's where it came from. And as soon as I did it, business picked up. Like, it was all these parents came through, and I get people who are not parents, and everyone just came through once I did it. So.
Wow. You know, I find that so powerful, because even with myself, I've had to find a way. Okay, I need to be aiming at a particular group of people, who's my audience and who's my group, who's my community. And I found that you are not only ministering to, when I say ministering, I know it's a business, but in some sense it's a ministry. But yes, you're reaching parents who have kids and they're trying to do some everyday workouts. And I saw on your page, maybe you had a post on about how there's a case study that you've provided for parents. What is this case study, and how can people go and get this case study that you offer?
The case study is basically explaining the 4 tips or 5 things that me and my wife did to lose the weight. And again, this is the same strategy we use. This is what we committed to. This is before this business was birthed. This is just what things we committed to. And that case study explains that. It shows examples of me and my wife, our before and afters, and those 5 tips to do that. So if you go to theparentsfitnesscompany.com and put your information, that case study will be emailed to you. It's a 6-minute video. It explains everything. And literally, if you implement that video, you should be able to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks just by starting.
Wow. You know, I'm a parent too, so I don't have 8, but I have 3. And one of my oldest is out of the house now. And I know for me, my workout routines were kind of up and down. I mean, you eat when your kids eat, and you're getting them involved with all kinds of sports and extracurriculars, and it throws your schedule off. What advice can you give to parents when they're trying to just figure life out with kids' schedules and their work schedules, but then I want to get a workout in? What advice can you give us there?
Two things. Just like I mentioned earlier, me and my wife had to decide to sacrifice. That means we had to go 4:30. We had to get up, go to the gym at 5, go from 5 to 6, be out at 6, get ready for work, get the kids ready, and go. So one is sacrifice. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. If that means going to bed earlier, not watching Netflix late, if that means whatever that means to you, you're gonna have to find that time to do it. And secondly, me and my wife both have ADHD. So what's made us most successful and me even successful as an entrepreneur is scheduling everything. So our date night is scheduled, family time is scheduled, free time is scheduled. Every single thing I do during the day is scheduled. So, and you gotta, and I made this mistake when I first started. You gotta include, hey, if I'm getting home from work, you gotta include that travel time from work to home. You have to include that, hey, if you wake up and you gotta go to the bathroom first in the morning, then include that in your schedule. Just be very aware of transition times as well.
Yeah.
So I tell my clients all the time, like, if you get home from work and you like, I want to work out right away, I'm all like, is that real? Do you need to take 15, 30 minutes to decompress from work? Breathe a little bit, then get started. Like, set that timer. Like, just be aware of yourself and be aware of your own actions and your own struggles. So, if I sit down more than 30 minutes, I ain't gonna get that workout in. Like, so set that timer for 30 minutes, sit down, relax, decompress, then get started.
I love it. I love it. As a parent, just trying to figure those things out. Those are certainly great tips. And, my sons are athletes. And so trying to figure that piece out, work around those schedules and workouts that they have. But you've given me some great tips there that I can definitely use. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you about, you're also an ordained minister. And there's a ministry side to this and a business side to this. How have you allowed, that mix between business and ministry? Have you allowed that to drive what you do?
One, I feel I'm living my purpose. So one, this is where God has me. This is where I can make the most impact. So we're supposed to go to God with all things. So if this is a business, I'm going to God with all things. Secondly, I used to work at Grand Canyon University, and it's a Christian university. That's where I got my undergrad in theology. And I love the Christian atmosphere. I love that we can have Bible study on lunch. I love that you can play Christian music. Like I love that atmosphere. So I always said, if I ever started a business, I wanted to incorporate Jesus in that business.
Yeah.
So when I first got started, or maybe like the second year, I was like, God, how can I include this? How can I include you more into this? And he gave me the weight loss prayer. So every Sunday on my page, I post a weight loss prayer, and whatever God gives me, I give me. So like this last week was about inner peace, helping people find their inner peace through this journey, through this weight loss process. The week before about self-worth, praying that people know that they deserve to be healthy and feel great and things like that. So I'm very there. And then on Sunday, I send out a Sunday scripture and like a little mini sermonette, all based off that scripture every Sunday to all my email list as well. So this kind of Sundays where you start the week. So I just want to start people on a positive note with Jesus and let them know Jesus is the king of transformations. If Jesus is the king of transformations, we're trying to transform. So we need to have Jesus in our life and through our weight loss journey in order to succeed.
Why health? Most people think, especially when it comes to church, it's mostly always a spiritual connection, or it's always some spiritual gift. Why for you is health, physical health, that thing that's so important? Why is that the thing that you're drawn to?
Superficially, not even thinking ahead. Like I started personal training when I was 19 years old. So from 19, which is 2004 to 2012, I was always in some form of fitness, whether I did it full time or
Yeah.
whether I just did it on the side. I was there, and then I left it in 2012, and that's when I gained the 270 pounds. Or not in gain, I became 270 pounds. So for me, when I kept looking back, when I kept feeling lost in life, it was always personal training. It was always making that impact. It was always making people feel good about themselves, showing people how they can. Our job is to make disciples. Our job is to make an impact. And I believe God gave me a purpose, and it was very, very vague. And I asked God for years, what's the purpose? He's like, be a positive impact on everybody's life. I'm all like, okay, but the greeter at Walmart could be the positive impact on people's life, like, so I felt like it was very vague, but I am the ball of energy. I am the animator. Like, that's just who I am, who God created me to be. So, and that was my favorite job. So when I said I always wanted the business, it was always personal training. It was just, it's hard to have a family and do traditional personal training in the gym. You go to a gym 5 a.m. till 12, you may be off for 3 hours, then you're working 3 to 9. Well, you're not seeing your kids in the morning. You're not seeing your kids at night. It wasn't a way. So that's kind of why I left it, because I didn't feel like I could make it a career and take care of my family the way I want, or be there for my family the way I want it.
Yeah.
So thank God for technology, being able to do this online.
Wow.
I was able to have both. And for health for me is how much, especially in the African American community, our health is horrible. We are predisposed to every chronic disease there is. You said church, and I think we will bash homosexuality, we will bash the adulterer, the fornicator, but we 200 pounds overweight, we 100 pounds overweight, and we don't want to talk about gluttony. We don't want to talk about the trauma. And let's be real, most people overweight are not, oh, I'm lazy. You're dealing with some type of trauma. You're dealing with some type of depression. You're dealing with something that lets yourself go. I mean, if you think selfishly, our first humane intact is self-preservation. So if our natural innate response is to preserve ourselves, how do we let ourselves become unhealthy?
Wow.
Unless something is preventing you from having the self-worth or the value to take care of yourself.
That's good. That's good. And so sometimes the physical representation of that deep hurt or that depression or that anxiety or whatever could be overeating, bad diet. And you're so right. We see that so much in the church. I've been pastoring for 17 years now, and I've seen it. The worker that has the mindset to serve, but just can't physically. Ministers and pastors, I've seen much too many pastors, die early or just don't have the longevity just simply because they're not in shape. They don't have the health to do it. Have you seen that in your experience?
Yes. I mean, in church, look, I feel like, especially in the African American church, at least 50% is overweight. And again, what made me even think about that the first time, I wasn't in training. I just heard someone call someone out. Like, someone was, condemning every other thing. And they're like, what about when you keep picking up them pork rinds? And someone called him out, and I was just like, I never thought, and that's what made me start thinking, like, yo, our health is a part of it. And I'm not saying you can't be great, and I'm not saying you can't live God's purpose, but how effective are you in living your purpose if you're tired? If you got sleep apnea and you don't get a good night's rest, you don't have the energy to do everything. Like, how effective you might be living your purpose, but only operating at 70%.
Man.
Because your health is not in great condition. You take this medication and it makes you sleepy. You take this medication and, it makes your joints ache and things like that, because usually, even though it treats your problem, there's some type of side effect that affects you some other part of your life. But so that is what's really important, is your health physically, mentally, emotionally, all needs to be intact for you to be effective.
Wow. I love how, you're really encouraging and pushing us to think about ways that our physical health can affect what we do on a week in and week out basis. I know for myself personally, I was a college athlete. And when I got out of playing sports, I got lazy, you put on weight, you don't really have anybody in your ear forcing you to do it, pushing you to do it. Now, you are a coach, you're a minister, but you're also a coach. I tell, I'm the greatness coach. I talk about this to people all the time. Sometimes we've gotten used to having the pastor preacher in our life to speak spiritually and to bring conviction and give us the word of God. But I believe what most people miss is the coach. Mm-hmm. What have you found that's the difference between having spiritual leader pastor and having a coach in your life?
Well, if you think about it, all right, let's say the pastor, he's a teacher coach. Let's just say that over your spirituality, right? Every Sunday, the pastor's going up, he's coaching you, giving you application on how to change your life from the Bible, right? All right, that's fine. But if you are struggling financially, then you probably need a financial coach. If you're struggling with your health, you need a fitness coach.
Yes.
And let's be real, a pastor is busy and his job is to be the shepherd of the flock. But at the same time, if you have a bigger church, he can't do that individually to everybody what you need. So sometimes you just got to seek a coach. Like you need some, even if let's say financial is an issue, go find a mentor.
Wow.
That can give you the time that you need. Can be more one-on-one, even if they're meeting with you once a week, once every other week, that can hold you accountable to your goals. And I think a lot of that's something that even in the Christian church, we don't want accountability.
There you go.
We don't want to be called out on our stuff. And I tell my clients all the time, like, actually just talking to one this morning, I was just like, okay, you keep trying this same strategy your way and you're not getting results. So what are you going to do to change?
Yeah.
The thing, I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Why we keep doing that over and over and over again and expecting different results? Then we're disappointed. Then we're stressed. Then we're depressed. And what people don't know is a lot of this isn't willpower. When you are stressed out, when you have anxiety, it releases a chemical hormone in your body called serotonin. Or cortisol. I'm sorry, cortisol. Cortisol is a negative hormone. It makes you feel horrible. In order for your body to feel great, because your body wants to feel happy, it wants to feel leveled out, it needs dopamine. Dopamine is the fastest hormone in your body to spike and make you feel good again. The fastest way to spike dopamine is with sugar.
Wow.
So your body is kind of making you overeat and emotionally eat because it wants to feel well.
Yeah.
So it's not really willpower, but then let's go back to it. If your body's making you overeat and do something that's counterproductive to you being healthy, we need to go to the root of the stress. What is causing you anxiety? What is causing you stress? What is causing you that trauma to make your body do this?
Yeah.
And we got to get to the root of this. And I feel anxiety is real. Stress is real. But I feel a lot of times we are putting a Band-Aid on it with medication. We're putting a Band-Aid on it, and we're not fixing the root cause of this problem. And so you could you could take Xanax and everything else, and I'm not faulting anybody that needs that, but until you fix the root of the problem, you're always going to have this.
And it always surfaces and manifests in ways, that are different. I was a firefighter for 6 years, and that was one of the things they taught us was when you go to put out the fire, you have to find the source. If you don't find the source, you're going to have pocket fires reignite all over the house or all over the structure. But you have to go straight to the source. And I believe what you're saying is so true. We have to find a way to get to the roots of all of these problems to find out what God is saying to us as far as, okay, here's your main problem. I believe that's where, when we talk about that tie, that connection, The pastor may come and say, okay, I'm going to speak right at this issue. That brings conviction. But then we need strategy and accountability, and that's where that coach / mentor can come in. Because I like you said, I can't sit in there with you every week and make sure you're doing your workouts, but a coach will. You know, and so listen, everybody, we've been in conversating with Coach D, talking about his journey and his story, talking about the importance of fitness. I'm excited to have this brother on. And while we're getting ready to go into our closing segment, let me mention that the next Pastor Plus camp is coming up here December 9th and 10th. And I want to encourage everyone, if you're a pastor, a leader, an influencer, anyone trying to do ministry while navigating the waters of the marketplace, you want to get to Pastor Plus. More information is found on my website, www.cajohnson.org. Coach D, I always try to let my guests give the last, final word or final thought. And so you can close us out however you want to, whatever you want to leave us with, a motivational word, a prayer, anything you want to leave us with. And then also tell us a little bit about how we can connect with you. So if there's some parent here or someone who's looking for some fitness, health, and tips, and they want to buy your services, they can definitely plug in that way. So everybody listen, visit my website, cajohnson.org. Here to give us our final thought is Coach D. Coach, you can take it away.
All right. Thank you very much again for having me on the show, Pastor Chris. All right. So if you want to find me, Instagram is my jam, and you can find me at The Parents Fitness Coach. At The Parents Fitness Coach, you can join my email list from there. You can also get that free case study, or you can go directly to theparentsfitnesscompany.com to get that free case study. And again, it shows you exactly how me and my wife were able to lose, me 80 pounds, my wife 85 pounds, with this just in 5 hours a week while we were busy raising 8 kids. So that's there. I'm going to leave it, because you are the greatness coach. I'm going to leave it. What I always tell my clients is God bless and go be great.